नमस्कार, गोमंतक टीव्हीच्या साष्टी कार्यक्रमात तुमचं येवकार. आयज एक स्पेशल डे, कारण आयज डॉक्टर्स डे आणि ह्या डॉक्टर्स डेक आमी आज इंटरव्यू करपाक आयल्यात ते डॉक्टर फ्रांसिस कोलास, जे मडगांवांतलेच न्ही, टोटल गोंयचे एक फामाद अशे हृदयरोग तज्ञ. आनीक तांकां तांची कामगिरी आनीक फकत दोतोर कुलासाचे जर वळख करून दिवपाची जाल्यार फकत एक दोतोर न्ही, ते बरे पैकी गावपी, बरे पैकी गिटार वाजोवपी. सो वेगवेगळे गुण दोतोरा भितर आसात. सो म्हाका दिसता की आयच्या दिसाक डॉक्टरा सारको मनीस आमकां इंटरव्यू करपाक मेळ्ळा. ते आमचे बाग दोतोर. पयलीं तुका दोतोर दिसाची परबी हय, आनीक आमच्या गोमंतक टीव्हीच्या वतीन आज तुजी गोमंतकाचेर
रिव्यू दिला आनी सगळे फोन कोत्ताय सांगपाक तूं कितू बरो केलो.
ओके दोतोर, आमी तुजे दोन पार्टाक बिकॉज दोनूय तुजे पार्ट तितलेच सारके लोकांक खरें इंटरेस्टिंग आसतले. वन इज युअर प्रोफेशन. I think you have started your learning of the education in, I think it is Portuguese
times.
Yeah. So at that time, doctor, the specialization was not a specialization.
Yeah.
So how you think that you have to be specialized in this आमच्या काळजाच्या हाका लागून?
It came, with this thing, when I was doing my postgraduate study.
Okay.
There was no facility in the medical college. So medical college was still being set up, so I had to go to Bombay.
Okay.
And I was at the KM Hospital, GS Medical College, where they had one of the most advanced cardiac departments. Echo came much afterwards, but they had this catheterization and geography. So I was so devoted, to the cardiology department. So the cardiology came to me as, as a secondary nature.
Okay.
So I started learning, going for conferences, clinical meetings. So like that, cardiology became a sine qua non for me.
Okay. And why you feel that you should practice in Goa? Because at that time, the medicine of not so advanced.
Absolutely. That's the question everyone asks. Because even, I had stints abroad. And they said, you were abroad, you were doing so well, you were so well placed. Why did you come after all back to Goa?
Yeah.
So it was, that, I was not comfortable abroad. Although, I had everything else. And I could specialize more and more to upgrade my knowledge and degrees. Something told me, that I should come back to Goa, and especially to the place where I was born.
Okay,
and practice medicine.
Yeah.
And that also, that I should choose cardiology.
Okay.
So that message, was speaking very closely to my heart.
Okay.
And it never left me. So I almost fell in the embrace of this thing. And cardiology was everything for me.
Okay.
But since at that time, the catheterization, angiography were not still well developed in Goa. So I chose echocardiography.
Okay.
And echocardiography was like a second nature, like a passion to me. So I learned and learned so much, went abroad, came back, and started investing in new machines. Every time a new machine came, I was taking advantage of these buybacks, giving my machines and getting new machines.
Okay.
So I became the foremost person in the echocardiography.
You start you are the only one cardiologist in Goa.
I was cardiologist as such, today, there are people who do DM. There were no people who did DM at that time.
Okay.
They came much later now.
Okay.
And we were mostly MDs, who had a special interest in cardiology.
Okay.
So you may not be able to call cardiologists in the full-fledged, full term of the word, but you can at least say, with special interest in cardiology.
Okay.
Consultants with special interest in cardiology.
Yeah, doctor, the lifestyle of that two jana start and the lifestyles of today's
Yes.
What you feel this year? And because आता subject to the heart attacks and all that,
Yeah.
they are on the rise.
Yes.
So why this
Yes.
is?
See, even when I came here, you know, there was a rise in the incidence of heart attacks.
Okay.
But it was not only a true rise, you know. It was that, you know, we were diagnosing more cases. And an awareness had been created, you know, that heart attacks, you know, were occurring and were too frequent among us. Before that, you know, suppose a person, you know, suddenly had gone to have bath after a heavy meal and he developed sudden discomfort in the chest.
Okay.
We used to call it indigestion.
Okay.
Indigestion means, you know, something, you know, bad digestion.
Okay. Yeah.
But in retrospect, you know, we came to know that, you know, those were cases of heart attack.
Okay.
So,
Mild one. Those are mild ones.
Not mild, severe, you know,
Okay.
because they led to instant death, you know,
Okay.
sudden death.
In
In fact, they were severe cases.
Okay.
There was no time to revive also. There were no facilities also.
So ताका लागून तुवें स्टार्ट केलें तेन्ना पेशंट कशे आसताले, हाव यू वर ट्रिटींग देम, what facilities they are getting at that time in Goa?
The facilities, you know, were more diagnostic.
Okay.
Catheterization, you know, we used to send to other places.
Okay. Other places means?
Bombay,
Okay.
then Belgaum, then Bangalore also.
Okay.
And they used to come with the diagnosis. Also, you know, they used to invest there for this thing. And the good thing was, you know, that what happens, you know, all this means money. You know. People did not have their own money to do this thing. So I remember that Dr. Willie first brought this Go Mediclaim policy, you know, where people, you know, who had less than certain annual income, they would benefit from this Mediclaim. And lots of people, you know, started going abroad to other places of India and getting the best treatment, coming back, and the government would sort of, you know, help them with financial.
दोतोर तूं काळजाचो दोतोर, आमी कोंकणीक म्हणटात काळजा दोतोर म्हणटा, कार्डियाक ताका. आनी एक दुसरें म्हणटा ते यू आर ऑल्सो म्युजीक लवर. आनी हे अशें म्हणटात म्युजीक आनी आमचें काळीज हांचें एकमेका कडेन कनेक्शन आसा म्हणून. आय डू नॉट नो वेदर सायंटिफिकली इट इज करेक्ट ऑर नॉट, बट आमी म्हणटात हे. सो तूं हे तुका आमच्या म्युजिका कडेन इतलो अट्रॅक्ट कसो जाला काय म्हणून?
म्युजिकाक इट वॉज लायक समथींग इनबॉर्न.
ओके.
I was born with that talent.
Okay.
Even I remember that when a child, you know, I used to take part in competitions.
Okay.
In singing competitions.
Okay.
Poetry competition. Then, you know, in the time when I was doing the Go Medical College, we used to get a lot of time, you know, for spare activities.
Okay.
So
that time so much of burden was not there.
That time, you know, I became very distinct, you know, expert, you know, in learning and playing the guitar.
Okay.
And we used to serenade the girls, go play. Then any function also used to be in very high demand. Those, of course, that time music was more romantic, Latin, like some coconut tunes.
Okay.
So we used to pass a lot of time, but a lot of Portuguese influence was there. And people would appreciate.
Okay.
Especially the potential lovers, you know, they used to be very happy when we used to go and play with our guitars, mandolins and violin.
दोतोर आज तुज्या इंटरव्यू घेतला, इट केम ऑन आवर गोमंतक.
Yes.
तातूंत भितर तुवें सांगिल्लें गेट युअर मदर वॉज ऑल्सो कीन इंटरेस्ट इन म्युजीक. सो वॉट इज दॅट?
You asked me a pointed question. How is that? What is about this music? You are playing so well. You are singing.
Yes.
You are a great lover of music in spite of having your own profession of medicine. Is it something genetic? Is it inherited? I think you are right to some extent. But we were four in our family.
Okay.
Only I got the knack for this thing. And my mother was very musical.
Okay.
But my father was not.
Okay.
So we can't call it totally genetic.
Okay.
Because if it was very genetic, you know, all of us would have had a knack for music.
Okay.
Among those things, you know, all brothers and sisters, you know, I was the only one.
Okay.
So it is partly genetic, partly it is sort of, I don't know, secondary influence of the world around.
Yeah, and I think friend circle, because you have told me also that you are having your own band group at that time.
Yes. So that of course, was, after I came back from Bombay, after I did my postgraduate studies, MD. So then, when we came, then we sort of reinvented ourselves, as musicians. Because when I was in Bombay, it was terrible, what happened. We were all engrossed in our studies. There was no time to learn music, to play music. And that culture of serenading also was not there. It was in full swing, in go. So when I came back, we restarted. And we got a lot of incentive from friends, colleagues. So we used to pass a good time also.
What is the name of that band group that you were having at that time?
Tuna Academica. Which means, combo by academicians, by students. Students group. So it was Tuna Academy.
And you were performing where at that time?
See, the performance stage, was, instead of they coming to us, we used to gather at night, on the banks of Mandovi. So practice some numbers, some new songs, mostly Portuguese or Latin music. And then instead of others coming to us to listen, we used to go, take advantage of a car with our friends used to sort of possess, used to roam around the city, especially in places, of girls' hostels and other. And then very much known was Institute, the Scholar Feminine in Panjim. Institute de Piedad, it used to be called. So the moment we used to go and play, they used to come in the veranda and they used to light the lamp, start TV. So every music, there was full applause, which was a sign, we want more.
And at that time, Mandavi was not so crowded and all that, and so it I can how romantic scene was.
There were the cement benches there. We used to sit there to practice. And hardly any lights, So in my writings, one of the favorite songs was Rue and Louche. It's a road without lights. Even the electric bulbs and this thing, would not be there. It was everything in the dark. Somehow one light used to come around, and we used to sit and practice some latest song. And then go serenading. So I only don't know when we used to study, how we used to study. Sometimes once, we started serenading at night in Panjim. Then we went to Vasco, we came to Margao, and only finished the next day in the morning. So, but still there was time for studying, for learning, Of course, the days of our Escola Médica were not so demanding. But still, we had to study. We had to do a lot of study, especially through books. And there were books, in all languages except Portuguese and English. We used to have Spanish, German. Then, so we used to be polyglots. They used to not fluently speak, but at least be able to grasp, what the books written by others, especially from other nationalities. Were available.
So तू म्हणते पयल्यार this is something stress तुमचो आशिल्लो day to day. So music was what for you? It's a solace or it's a stress buster? What was for you?
Absolutely. What you think is it was stress buster more than everything. But it was like the second love. First was my
profession.
Profession. My wife also. But music was, a second love and the greatest love of all. So still you are crossed, I believe, 80 you have crossed. 81.
81. So still, how you are this so active in this music, even in the profession? How is it because of music you are so active till now?
Sushant, this is a very correct question. And the answer has to be in a few words.
Yeah.
What happens is many ask me, you are so this thing, you have got your age, and why you are still practicing and seeing, Of course, patients benefit, you have got a lot of know-how, and patients become happy because you give them the maximum. But why you do? See, it is like, either, like they say, write-ups about medicine, either publish or perish.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, this, about practicing, either you practice or perish. Time doesn't pass, unless, you devote it to your patients, devote it to music. Somehow, time has to pass. It is very difficult because the reading capacity, I used to read, and also now we have got, of course, the internet. We can just go and type, we get the best articles about echocardiography, which I then come, apply to our patients, and they get the maximum benefit from my learning. But the thing is that, mainly, the time doesn't pass unless you are fully occupied.
Okay.
And of course, occupied, you can be occupied with books of jokes and this thing. But reading, praying, reading religious books, then self-study books, then self-interest books, then is a passion for me.
Yeah. So डॉक्टराचे एक जर तुम्ही जर डॉक्टर फ्रांसिस कोलास हो कितलो बरो गायक आनी कितलो बरो कलाकार हो जर पळयता जाल्यार फेसबुकार आमच्या युट्यूबाचेर वचात आनी डॉक्टर फ्रांसिस कोलास म्हणून मार तुमकां एक म्हाका दिसता एक 7-8 तरी दोतोराची सिंगिंग्स इन वेरियस लँग्वेज मीन्स इन इंग्लीश इन कोंकणी सो दिसतली
Italian, French also.
So दोतोर आमी आतां सम अप करता आसतना बिकॉज यू आर ऑल्सो बिझी डॉक्टर आनी तुजी इतलो वेळ घेवप म्हाका
I am very grateful to you, and you have been a good friend, because every time.
Doctor, I think I am obliged because.
Not at all. I am obliged to you. I feel so much indebted, because you always think of me.
Yes.
And Doctor give me 2 bites and this thing, So when your telephone comes,
so
I feel I go.
Okay. So ताका आमी सादी भाशेन म्हणटा काळजाक काळीज मेळटा म्हणटा that is I think as a correct word I believe. Right. So आता आमी सम अप करता आसतना on the day of this Doctor's Day. What you want to give a message to Goans? Basically profession and you have music as a combination धरून what you want to
mainly that practice, give the maximum to your patients. Do it with all humility. And following the ethics of medicine, of doctors. There are certain ethics which you cannot do. Got away from that. And even when practicing, looking at your colleagues and getting for people for second opinion, always try to be aware that there are some ethics of medicine, and we are bound to follow. We are not merchants or businessmen. Above all, we have got to be considerate to our patients, and especially go all out for them, and also in the bargain, be considerate to your own colleagues.
So doctor,
must look at our colleagues, as real colleagues, not as rivals, as somebody whom you want to challenge.
Yes. So doctor, आमी आता काबार करता आसतना I can request you that can you recite some for our viewers. तुका आवडटा कसले एक one stanza of any song that you likes. Can you?
Noites de luar que embalam breve, vem para embalar meu sonho é leve. Noites de luar de prata e magia vem para embalar, encher de alegria.
सो ह्या म्युझिक नोटाचेर आमी ही आमची भासाभास थांबयतात. मेन म्हणटा आमकां तुमकां दाखोवपा आशिल्लें की दोतोर हो काळजा दोतोर, पूण तो खरो म्हाका दिसता ताजें काळीज दोतोरकेक आसाच, पूण म्हाका दिसता म्युझिकाक तितलेच सारको इनवॉल्व आशिल्लो हो दोतोर. आनीक तुमी पळयलें आसतलें की दोतोर म्हाका आपल्यालो फ्रेंड म्हणटा. सो हाव फ्रेंडली नेचर ही हॅज.
No, no, no.
या सो दोतोर या
Admired you.
दोतोर ताका लागून हांव म्हणटा की आजच्या ह्या दिसाची तुका तशीच तुजे सगळे जे दोतोर फॅटर्निटी आहा
होय,
तांकां आमच्या गोमंतक टीव्हीची परबी आनीक
चड देव बरें करूं तुका.
आनी आमचे जे आनी आमचे जे सगळे
सगळो तुजो मोग मोयपास हांव तुका देव बरें करूं म्हणटा. तुकाच न्ही, राजू बाबाक आनी सगळे हें कोत्ताय ते, पण भोव करून तुका आमची कितें जाणां इश्टा गोवटू कोणें चडोवंक जायना. आय adore you, Sushant, because you are always humble, competent, very dignified also. God bless you.
सो देव बरें करूं.
तुका देव बरें करूं.
आनी आमचे सगळे पळोवपी आहा तांकां देव बरें करूं. पळयत रावात गोमंतक टीव्ही.